I want to show you these clips because it's so hilarious how they muted the booing. People were booing the Israeli singer on stage. And the European Broadcasting Union and Eurovision, they actually got software to mute the boos and then turn them into cheers. I mean, have you ever heard of such dishonest television? I mean, it's one thing to boo it's one thing to mute people's reactions, but then to change the bloody reactions as if they approve of her is unbelievable. So now I've collated and collected a series of clips for you, about a dozen clips from the Eurovision. And I just want you to listen how people are booing the crap out of it. So these were not broadcasts. These are from people's phones. You can really gauge, you can really hear what's going on. Just take a listen. I mean, that's deadly. That's deadly. That was on the 11th. This is on the 10th. Here, I've got another one. Heard that? Free Palestine! Free Palestine! I mean, it's dreadful, honestly. This was such a good self-own. This was shared by this former Israeli spokesperson himself. So he's basically admitting that she was booed at, and I mean, thank you so much. I thank him for posting the clip. Thank you for confirming what we already knew. Yeah, there's more of it.
And there is actually booing cancelling in musical equipment. You could hear the booing.
Do you hear the difference? Do you hear the difference? That's the same instant during the song. You can hear how it is in reality and then how it is on television. Look at that again. Or rather, listen. I mean, it's so preposterous. It's so preposterous. It's so fake. And even when they were handing out the points, so you know, they would go to every country and there's a jury and they hand out points. Even when they did that, people started booing. I caught that live. I caught that live.
Al-Kulumbra in Israel. Good evening. Shalom. This is Maya from Jerusalem at Cannes, the Israeli Public Broadcasting Corporation. As an avid fan of the Eurovision Song Contest, I am very excited to be here.
So, you know, I think they had it off maybe because they didn't expect booing during the points, you know, during the awarding of points. Anyway, you know, it's scandalous for several reasons because they claim that it's an apolitical song contest. Obviously, it's political because they banned Palestinian flags from the event, number one. They banned Russia from the event. And do you know what's so funny? This singer, the Israeli singer, is a Russian. And she could have competed as a Russian because she did in the past. She was the Russian Eurovision contestant for the, I think, under 18s. It was 15-year-olds or something like that. And anyway, so normally she would have continued as the Russian, but because they banned Russia, she goes and she participates as an Israeli contestant. I mean, this is so emblematic of what Israel is. It's a bunch of Eastern Europeans. That's what it is. Yes, thank you very much. Thank you for confirming what we already knew. Thank you so much. Yes. Yes. I mean, look, I'll put this another way. Let me phrase this another way. Why is Israel allowed to partake in the Euro Cup, for example, under UEFA, or through Eurovision under the EBU? Now, technically, anyone can join the EBU. You had Morocco, I think, in the EBU, Australia. So it's not necessarily a white settler thing, but it just further the fact that Israelis always compete and they are in that thing, you know, every single year, no matter what. Of course, it's related to that. Of course, there is a connection here. There is absolutely a connection between white Europeans supporting a white Jewish European colonial project in Palestine. Of course. Why do you think that evangelicals support the Israelis and they've cooked up this connection between, Europeans and European settlers in America with European settlers in Palestine? There is a connection here, of course. Now, some people disagree. They'll say, well, Zionism is just Zionism, and others will say it's white supremacy. It's both. It's both. It's both. It's both. It is a Jewish supremacist project, and it's also a white supremacist project. It's a European thing. It's settler colonialism in the classical European sense. It was a movement conjured up in the 19th century. So, of course, it bears all the traits and similarities of European colonialism. Of course it does. Of course it does. So it's a mix of all these things. Make no mistake. And it's not just because of the Eurovision Song Contest. Duh. But don't come here and tell me that it's an apolitical event. It's completely and utterly political. The moment you decided to ban the Russians, you made it political. Now, me personally, I don't think anyone should be banned. I'm not into that. I'm not into this stupid cancel bullshit. I really don't give a crap whether the Israelis compete or they don't compete, or the Russians compete and the Russians don't compete. I couldn't care less. I really couldn't care less. But if you're going to be banning people because of the wars that they're involved in, well, then you should be banning the UK. You should be banning France. You should be banning Germany. You should be banning Israel, first and foremost. Because the Russian war in Ukraine, and again, it's not a Russian war, it's a Russian response to NATO aggression, it pales in comparison. It doesn't even register on the meter compared to this genocide in Gaza. What are you comparing it with? You know, you ban the Russians over some nonsense that they have nothing to do with, but then you let the Israelis run free and run wild. I mean, it's amazing.
Tonight, I was supposed to give out Norway's points during the Eurovision final. Even though I'm thankful that I was given the opportunity to do so, I've taken the decision to withdraw. United by Music, Eurovision's motto, is the reason why the music unites people, bring them together. But right now, those words are just empty words. There's a genocide going on. And I'm asking you all to please open up your eyes, open up your heart. Let love lead you to the truth. It's right in front of you. Free Palestine.
Portuguese singer, she wore she had the Palestinian kufiya pattern in her nails on purpose, and then she showed it on her way out. Right, so that was her way of supporting the Palestinians when Palestinian flags are banned. Now, someone who has not just talent but class, Eric Clapton, his guitar has got a Palestinian flag on it now. So, you know, what more do you need from someone who's influential in blues and rock? You know, it's perfect. It's perfect. He knows what's up, and many musicians are smart people and politically active. You know, you can't separate the two. I mean, rock music is born out of a counterculture a movement of youth and students and anti-war, and it's all mixed up in one big soup, one melting pot. And so, of course, you can't, you know, they're inextricably intertwined. You cannot separate music from politics. Anyway, that's just what I wanted to show you, and I just wanted to show you how pathetic they are. They're so scared of people seeing, you know, what people actually think of the Israelis and how they feel towards Palestine. They're so afraid of you finding out. They are so frightened and utterly terrified of the prospect that you would see others, expressing themselves the way that you want to express yourself, that they boo Israel proudly and they support Palestine proudly because what Israel's doing is wrong. They're terrified of the prospect. They have to use software to dull and mute and obfuscate and cover up the boos. These utter cowards. They are so cowardly. And this is just how they censor people and cancel people and get them banned. It's typical Israeli nonsense. It's typical Zionism, We're going to shut you up, even if we have to use software to do it. They're so pathetic, really. They're so pathetic. Again, YouTube demonetized my channel because I'm not allowed to say naughty things about Israel. Telling the truth is forbidden. So if you are able to donate a few dollars on PayPal or on a monthly basis on Patreon, please consider doing it because it would really help me continue my journalism and support independent media. So I'd be very grateful. And the links are in the description and also in the chat. Thank you guys very much again for all your donations and all your kind comments. I appreciate it very much.